Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be shooting the first section of Understanding Scientology Chapter 1, From Dianetics to Scientology, the Evolution of a Cult. Now I'm going to be shooting this kind of over a few days. This chapter is very long and packed full of information, so I want to make sure that I can break this all down for you, and I'm going to put it all together at the end. So you may notice a kind of involvement of makeup and outfit changes throughout this video, but this is all one chapter and it's going to be just a culmination at the end. So get something to eat, get something to snack on, and stay tuned. Okay guys, let's pick up from where I left off, covering Chapter 1 of Understanding Scientology by Marjorie Wakefield. Chapter 1 is From Dianetics to Scientology, the Evolution of a Cult. So the Hubbard Dianetics Research Foundation was reborn in Wichita. Success remained elusive, however, as only a trickle of students made their way to Wichita to sign up for Dianetics training and Hubbard's lectures. So the original foundation was set up in New Jersey due to a lot of things that were going on. Hubbard's spending habits, him refusing to get this scientific backing and all the research done. A lot of the founding members started going away. They ended up filing for bankruptcy. One of the guys, this Don Purcell, who was an early convert to Dianetics, was like, come to Wichita, I will set you up, I believe, I believe in you, I believe in this, So he set Hubbard up in Wichita. Very few people were coming, but hey, go on. The honeymoon period between Hubbard and Purcell proved to be short-lived. Hubbard was spending money faster than Purcell could provide it. Purcell had not anticipated the hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, which he had legally acquired from the now defunct earlier foundations. And the conservative Purcell was also disturbed by Hubbard's blossoming interest in past lives. In February of 1952, the Wichita Foundation was forced to file for bankruptcy. A nasty battle ensued between Hubbard and Purcell. Hubbard sued Purcell for reneging on his contract to assume the debts of the earlier foundations. Then Purcell, realizing that Hubbard had made off with the mailing list and other property of the Wichita Foundation, obtained a restraining order requiring Hubbard to return the foundation property. The feud between the two men continued for many months. Hubbard opened the Hubbard College on the other side of Wichita. It remained open for only 6 weeks, but long enough for Hubbard to organize a convention, which, although scantily attended, provided Hubbard with a forum from which to announce a completely new development. This new development was called Scientology. From the Latin word scio, for knowing, and Greek word logos, to study. Scientology, the study of knowledge, would now replace the study and practice of Dianetics. Since Don Purcell now owned all the Dianetics copyrights as Dianetics concerned the body, Hubbard explained Scientology addressed the soul, renamed the Thetan, in Scientology. Through Scientology, he claimed a person could attain previously unattainable levels of spiritual awareness. Shortly after making the announcement, a small group of devotees in Wichita, Hubbard having secured divorces from his previous 2 wives, married for the third and final time to Mary Sue Whipp, a young student who had come from Texas to study at the Wichita Foundation. Hubbard and Mary Sue packed their bags and headed to Phoenix. There, like the namesake symbol of the city, a fledgling science of Scientology would arise from the ashes of Dianetics and soar to success. Hubbard Association of Scientology in Phoenix became the new world headquarters for Hubbard and for Scientology. In his lectures and his writings, Hubbard began to explore the principles of his new science. He introduced the new cosmology and new direction for auditing. The Thetan, according to Hubbard, has been around for a long time. In the beginning, Thetans together created the universe. However, over the eons, they developed into a degraded state, becoming the effect of very universe which they created. In his current debilitated state as a Thetan, man is unaware of his actual identity as an immortal Thetan. This process of deterioration has also been expedited by a process called implanting, in which Thetans are subjected to high voltage laser beams used to program them for various purposes. These implants are carried out at various locations in the universe within our own solar system. According to Hubbard, each of us, when we die, is subconsciously programmed to return to the newest implant station in space, where our memories of the life we just lived are electronically zapped away, and we will be programmed for our next life. Then we are sent back to Earth, pick up our new body in an endless cycle of rebirth that has been going on for trillions of years. Through Scientology auditing, the electric charge resulting from implant can be removed, supposedly restoring the person to levels of ability not achieved in this sector of the universe for millions of years. As the electric charge is removed, the restored Thetan, called an operating Thetan, or OT in Scientology, will theoretically regain many lost abilities that he had in his native state, such as extrasensory perception, telepathy, telekinesis, as well as full control of his present body. As an OT, a person through Scientology auditing should regain the ability to exteriorize at will from his body, becoming able to travel to any location in the universe and to control the body from a distance. Hubbard also introduced at the same time a curious gadget which is called the E-meter, short for electropsychometer. This small box-like instrument is actually a galvanic skin response monitor which registers changes in skin conductivity caused, according to Scientology, by emotional upset. The face of the E-meter contains a dial on which needle registers rises and falls of emotional charge. Various knobs alter the sensitivity of the needle reactions. To the box are connected two leads attached to small soup or juice cans, which the pre-clear holds in his hands. The E-meter helps the auditors probe the pre-clear's subconscious mind, looking for areas of emotional charge to be explored in auditing. Scientologists believe that auditing with the help of the E-meter entirely confirms the existence of past lives. They believe that through Scientology auditing, immortality can be achieved by modern man. These were the promises made by Hubbard in his new science. During this time, Hubbard introduced a policy of tithing, in which 10% of each Scientology organization's weekly gross income would be paid directly to Hubbard. Although Hubbard told Scientologists in a bulletin called "What Your Fees Buy" that he made no money from Scientology, this is a blatant lie. During the later years of the organization, as much as $1 million a week was being channeled directly to Hubbard's personal accounts. Hubbard produced another book during this period called "What to Audit," later named "The History of Man," which one author judged correctly as possibly the most absurd book ever written. In this book, Hubbard traced the history of the Thetan, which he claimed had come to Earth only 35,000 years earlier. The book begins, "This is a cold-blooded and factual account of your last 60 trillion years," and states that through this knowledge, the blind again see, the lame walk, the ill recover, the insane become sane, and the sane become saner. Isn't that kind of like ripped off from some televangelists that you see on late night TV? During those 60 trillion years, we passed through stages called the Jack-in-the-Box, the Haliver, facsimile one, the Joiner, the Ice Cube, the Imantio, the Between Lives implants. All of these implants could, of course, be nullified through Scientology auditing. According to Hubbard's son, this book was written while Hubbard was on drugs. Shocker. I mean, knock me over with a feather right now. That is the only explanation which makes any sense. Again, yes. In the fall of 1952, Hubbard and his wife journeyed to London, England, where 1 month later Hubbard's first child by his third wife was born, a daughter named Diana. Hubbard wanted to oversee the new organization of Scientology in London and bring it firmly under control. When he returned to the United States, Hubbard stopped in Philadelphia to give a series of lectures packaged and still sold in Scientology as the Philadelphia Doctorate Course. Hubbard was by now offering both a bachelor's and doctor's degree in Scientology. Hubbard, desiring a degree himself, arranged with Sequoia University, a diploma mill in California that was shut down by the California Department of Education in 1958, to receive an honorary PhD, and he proudly displayed his credentials after his name for some time. Years later, when it became public that his degree was phony, Hubbard issued an official policy renouncing the degree. In 1952, Hubbard published another book called Scientology 8-8008. In the title, the first 8 is a symbol for infinity. The next 2 digits, 80, symbolize the power of physical universe reduced to 0, and the final 08 symbolize the power of the personal universe of the person, taken from 0 to infinity. In other words, Hubbard is saying that through Scientology techniques, a person can eventually become a god. Okay. Examples of some of these miraculous procedures include the following commands. Be 3 feet back of your head. Whatever you are looking at, copy it one at a time, many, many times. Then locate a nothingness and copy it many, many times. Locate the 2 upper back comers of the room. It says comers. Hold on to them and don't think. Now find a place where you are not. I don't want to be here. Can I not be here? Can I not be reading this? What would it be alright for you to look at here in this room? Anything but this book? Be near Earth. Be near the moon. Be near the sun. Be near the Earth. Be near Mars. Be at the center of Mars. And so on. Oh, thank you for ending my pain. It was during these lectures in Philadelphia that Hubbard first mentioned the name Aleister Crowley, the infamous Satanist in England. That is wrong. He's not a Satanist. People stop saying that. Aleister Crowley was a prominent person in the community of pagans. He was not a Satanist. He is a prominent person in pagan community. From Aleister Crowley's writings, trickle down, you get modern day Wiccans. He's not a Satanist. Okay, now that we've gotten that down, let's move on. In England during the first half of the century, referred to by Hubbard as my very good friend. Crowley was in fact Hubbard's mentor. No, he was not. Hubbard never actually met Aleister Crowley. He lived with a person who studied under Crowley. Get that right. And remained so throughout his life. It was from Crowley's work that Hubbard found the inspiration for much of his bizarre material on those secret upper levels or OT levels of Scientology. Highly possible. Highly possible he took Aleister Crowley's writings and changed them into what the OT levels are. I haven't actually looked into the OT levels. It's highly possible. One day, while lecturing in Philadelphia, U.S. Marshals arrived on the scene and arrested Hubbard for theft of $9,000 from the Wichita Foundation. Amazingly, this was the only occasion that Hubbard spent time in jail, although he was relentlessly pursued by various government agencies for the rest of his life. Perhaps this arrest warned Hubbard of problems to come, because it was at this time that he began to make noises to friends in Philadelphia that he might transform Scientology into a church for legal protection and for tax purposes. He knew that as a church his organization would be afforded protections that otherwise that would not exist. Accordingly, in December of 1953, Hubbard incorporated the Church of Scientology and the Church of American Science. A year later, the Church of Scientology of California was incorporated as a subsidiary of the Church of American Science. In its article of incorporation, the Church of American Science sounded vaguely like a Christian church. Included in the purposes listed in its original charter are to train and indoctrinate ministers and brothers and sisters in the practices and teachings of the Church of American Science, to prepare them and ordain them to carry forth the work of the Church of American Science, and to conduct churches and ministers to and conduct congratulations, to resolve the travail and difficulties of members of the congregation as they may appertain to the Spirit, to conduct seminaries and instruction groups. And listed in the creed of the church are that God works within man his wonders to perform, that man is his own soul, basically free and immortal, but deluded by the flesh. The man has a God-given right to his own life. The man has a God-given right to his own beliefs. That a civilization is lost when God and the Spirit are forgotten by its leaders and by its people. The beginning of 1954 saw the birth of the first actual Scientology church, the Church of Scientology of California, as well as the birth of Hubbard's second child by Mary Sue, a son named Quentin. The Church of Scientology was soon formed in Auckland, New Zealand. Hubbard registered the umbrella organization, the Hubbard Association of Scientology International, to oversee all of his new churches. Now that he had churches, he needed ministers, so Hubbard created the Scientology Ministers course, on which the Scientologists learned to perform the sacred ceremonies of Scientology, including a wedding, a christening, and a funeral. The christening ceremony, as an example, goes as follows. Here we go to the child. How are you? All right. Now your name is blank. You got that? Good. There you are. Did that upset you? Now do you realize that you're a member of the HASI? Pretty good, huh? Wow. Deep stuff there. The child is introduced to his parents and godparents, and the ceremony concludes. Now you're suitably christened. Don't worry about that. It could be worse, okay? Thank you very much. They'll treat you all right. Again, deep shit. Deep shit. In 1955, the founding Church of Scientology in Washington, D.C. became the new world headquarters for Scientology. In 1956, in Washington, D.C., Hubbard held the Anti-Radiation Congress, at which he revealed the Scientologists could become radiation-proof by taking Nason tablets, which he was marketing under the name Dionyson. Shortly after the Congress, the FDA arrived on the scene and seized 21,000 illegal tablets. This was just the beginning of Hubbard's trouble with the FDA. By July of 1957, more than 100 Scientology organizations exited. No, I read that wrong. More than 100 Scientology organizations existed in the United States, and they were flourishing. In 1958, Scientology's tax-exempt status was denied. The Washington, D.C. Church appealed to the U.S. Court of Claims, which upheld the original decision, ruling that Hubbard and his wife were profiting beyond reasonable remuneration from Scientology. Hubbard was at this time receiving 10% tithe from the organizations worldwide, and he had also received a $108,000 gift from the church. Mary Sue was also receiving money from the church. Hubbard's paranoia was greatly exacerbated by these encounters with the government agencies. He began to issue policies railing against the enemies of Scientology, stating that only way to deal with them was to attack them even harder. If attacked on some vulnerable point by anyone or anything or any organization, always find or manufacture enough threat against them to cause them to sue for pace. Don't ever defend, always attack. Don't ever do nothing. Unexpected attacks in the rear of the enemy's front ranks work best. So apparently he's going back to his father's Navy ways when writing these policies, and he's going attack, attacks more, attack again, attack harder, which is not surprising since we know a lot of Scientology's belief systems are attack, destroy, do whatever, destroy. So that's going to end part 2 on this. Again, we are covering chapter 1 from Understanding Scientology. Like I told you guys, this chapter is packed full of information. I'm going to be kind of cutting in where I know some things are not exactly labeled correctly, or we may know some other information on it. Add in a bit of commentary here and there, but all of this is coming from Understanding Scientology by Marjorie Wakefield. This is chapter 1, From Dianetics to Scientology, The Evolution of a Cult. So this is going to end part 2, and I will get back to you guys with another part soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you're notified of every single time that I post a video. In the comment section down below, leave me any questions regarding any of the content covered in this video. Also in the description box you will find my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also my email is down there below, so that if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you have anything that you want me to cover on this channel, you can send it to me on any of those platforms. If I cover the material that you send me, I will shout you out in that video that I make on it. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for me today, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.